Ladies and gentlemen, how's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode of Fifth at Night, ladies and gentlemen. We got an interesting show today, man. Let me just get into it. Let me pull my peoples up, man. The topic is, do people fall in love with you or with your potential? All right, let me go ahead and I see my brother in the background is ready. What's going on, Ray? How you doing, brother?
Man, things are improving. I'm glad to say. I wasn't sure if I was going to be here tonight, but by the grace of God, with everything improving, here I am, man. Thanks for having me.
That's what I'm talking about. All praise is due.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah, brother. All right. You're on your tablet, right?
Yes, I am.
If you turn it sideways, it should force it to go widescreen. Let's see what happens.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Yeah.
You see?
There we go. We cooking. There we go.
Okay. Great.
All right. My brother KJ. KJ, you there?
Yes, sir. Sorry, my camera is not working today. I hope that's okay.
It's all good.
Sir KJ, how are you?
I'm doing good, Mr. Ray. How about yourself?
Better, man. Better. Glad to be
Wonderful.
here.
It's wonderful.
Thank you, man.
That's what's up. Just
I got news
go
before
ahead,
we
KJ.
continue.
You have news that you're okay with sharing on here, or
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you're up to speed about the entire Carmelo Anthony situation, or at least the important parts of it, right?
To some degree, with the recent video footage and the newer perspective, I guess, of analyzing it. But yeah, go ahead.
Are you aware of the victim's father?
I'm not aware of his actual approach to the camera. I did see that he was interviewed, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, his father showed up on my live last night.
Okay.
And I did post it on my YouTube channel. And that was insane, to say the least. So it was, yeah, I would just say, when you get the chance, Fit, definitely you got to check that out, because it was crazy. But
Really? He came on your TikTok live or your YouTube live?
On TikTok live.
Interesting. Give a background of maybe why the context was that he would show up. Was it the topic?
The topic was about Carmelo Anthony. My position is my position is not new. I do believe that he was guilty. I'm perfectly fine with the verdict and the sentencing. But we were talking about the supporters of Carmelo Anthony, and the topic was whether or not they lost the plot. And about an hour into the live, that's when Jeff showed up. We didn't know that it was him at first, but then we found out later that he had actually showed up to the live. So I had to rearrange everything and, just open the forum up to him to be able to answer whatever questions that he was comfortable with answering, because I do sympathize with him and his family. And I believe that Carmelo Anthony was 100% in the wrong. So I wanted to at least give him a platform in the midst of all the BS that he's been dealing with the swatting and the racist tropes that's been directed at him, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, and went on for about an hour and a half. It was crazy. But yeah, that's what happened. Whole video's on my live or on my YouTube.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, shout outs to everyone. Shout outs to everyone. KJ, this is what I'm gonna say about those about that, because they're high school, right?
Yeah, they were in high school.
So because they're teenagers, my perspective to it is kind of hands off. Because they're teenagers. If this would have been like adults, I'd probably talk more about it. But being that they were teenagers, I kind of really don't have so much of a perspective on
teenagers.
Huh? Say it again.
Oh, he froze.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now. Run it
Yeah, I
back.
can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying that being that those two were teenagers, I've had a more hands off approach about talking about them too.
Yeah.
You know, so it'd be different if they were adults, but being that they're teenagers, I have I have an opinion, but I also have a hands off approach only because they're kids. Now, if it would have been like an adult assaulting a kid, that'd be one thing, right? But being that they're both teenagers, I've had a very hands off approach to it. And also, I don't know everything. I wasn't there, you know. So once, if I'm not mistaken, that video footage that they got, the camera view was terrible. It is absolutely terrible. So I really don't have a actual opinion. Like maybe I probably would in the past when I talked about social issues. But I really don't have that much of an opinion about it. So, I'm kind of quiet about that. And I'm not
I
quiet because I
understand.
don't care. I'm quiet because I'm just uninformed.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell you what, um, whenever we get off of here, if you want to reach out to me, at some point, and I can run you up to speed. Not even going to give my opinion on it. I'm just going to tell you about the
Mm-hmm.
entire thing because I've been talking about it ad nauseum since the case was public information. So I got the whole scoop. If you need it, I got you.
That's what's up. Shout outs to my brother Beyonder. He's here.
Good evening, Beyonder.
What's going on, man? So the topic, do people fall in love with you or with your potential? I'm going to start this off with a video.
Okay.
For y'all to react to, and then I'm going to pull up the some questions. Okay. So let me go ahead and get this going. Let me go ahead. There you go. Okay, I gotta redo that. Let me bring it up. Here we go. All right, at the stage. Let me play this real quick.
Falling in love with potential is really, really setting yourself up for failure. It's better to just accept them for who they truly are rather than going into denial of who they've shown you who they are.
It can be a painful realization to see how you've been loving the perception you have of your partner versus actually connecting and loving with who they actually are in their core.
Look, here's the thing. It's really soul destroying when you have this false perception of your partner and you find out they've got a whole secret life behind your back and you can't believe they've duped you into this and you can't believe they've hurt you like this. But I would say that when you fall in love with your potential imagination, the person that hurts you doesn't feel much guilt. And the reason why they don't feel much guilt is because they feel like you didn't take the time to get to know the real me. You didn't fall in love with the real me. You fell in love with your own imagination. And therefore, I don't feel that guilty about hurting you because you think you fell in love with your own imagination.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean I can't
Oh,
hear
my
you.
bad. I was on mute. Yeah, the way that ended was wild, but go ahead, Beyond.
First of all, Fifth. Sadia is a fraud. She's not even a real psychologist. I've been following her for a long time. Like not following her, but like following her. Like there was controversy around her. Her PhD is fake, and she gives advice to men and charges them like thousands of dollars by the hour. She's a con artist. So I just want to put that out there first before because I saw her name. I was like, is that Sadia? It is Sadia. Yeah, she's fake. So I just wanted to put that out there first.
Well, no disagreement there, but as far as what she said, where do you stand with that?
Oh, I mean, I don't fully agree with it. I feel like in regard to like the prompt, like it's and or, people can fall in love with you or your potential. It can be both. For me, it was both. For women, it depends on who you ask, I guess, right? If you're asking a man, men, I think men are the true romantics. If I'm being totally honest, because men can fall in love with a woman for who they are. They can be working at Starbucks or Dollar Tree. If she's attractive enough, hey, no, I don't care. Are you good? Are you a good person? Are you nice? Are you kind? Cool, let's go on a date. Women though, it depends. Women definitely fall in love or can fall in love with potential more. If they see that, if they can see that you're not quite there yet, but will be there eventually. I.e., let's say I'm a freshman in college. I'm on my way to be in the NBA. She might, she might give me a chance. Because I have potential to go pro. But if I didn't have a chance to go pro, I don't know if she would take me seriously. You know. But it depends on like where you are in your life and who you're really around. I talk about proximity, and it's like you said, Fifth, that average people date within proximity, I guess. So it really depends on the situation, the setting, and who's pursuing who. That's what I'd say.
Absolutely. KJ, you have anything to say on that video?
There's a funny way of saying, there's a funny response that a friend of mine has when we hear some wild off the wall things. What? Huh? You so run it back, Turbo. She said that she doesn't necessarily feel bad about hurting the partner because they were in love with the imagination of her. Is that what I heard?
That's how it ended, and that's why I said that ended wild.
Okay, okay. Well, let's make this abundantly clear. If you are willingly or you lack any variant of regrets when you hurt somebody that you were once intimate with, that's morally bankrupt and shows major lack of character on your part, man or woman. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Um, in any relationship that anybody is in, uh, if there's any potential or inevitability that that relationship is going to end, you want to make sure that you end it on a good note. You end it on a mature note. Not everybody is for each other, but when two adults come to a mutual understanding correctly and they come to it maturely, that leaves out any possibility for there to be any animosity shared between one or the other. When she makes a statement like that and she's also parading herself as this supposed what doctor or therapist or something like that, then she's narrative driven instead of being driven by the objectivity and the sanctity of the degree that she earned. She's going behind that, and that's lowball behavior. So, needless to say, I fully disagree with that wild note that it ended on. Um, as far as the conversation itself goes about what is it, falling in love with the potential of the person that you're with, Fifth, is that correct? Muted. You're muted.
Sorry. Falling in love with you or your potential.
Yeah, so you have to, this is why courting and vetting is such a serious matter. If you don't properly court and vet the person that you're dating, then you're going to inevitably just fall in love with their potential. But if you figure out the person that they are and you study them well enough, you'll one of two things is going to happen. Either you fall in love with them directly or you don't. And if you don't, just be honest. Hey, I don't like you right now. And just keep it pushing. But I think that I'm not gonna lie. If I were to generalize a gender and who does this more, I would have to be honest and say that I think men fall in love with the potential more than women do.
Really?
If I were to be honest, yes. And the reason why I say that is because men have a men have this perspective on how they want a relationship to function, and they see how a lot of relationships operate on social media, and I think that there is an innate desire for a lot of men that they want this relationship that they're in now to operate off of a similar note, if not the exact same note. So men, rather than actually figuring out the type of woman that they're with, and understanding that with relationship comes compromise and sacrifices, they are trying to push their woman to being something that they're probably not. And that's why you have a lot of men that will inevitably be disappointed when that relationship doesn't work out, because it's like, oh, you're not who I thought you were. And that's the problem. You thought that they were that, but you could have found out relatively quicker that this is not the type of person that is your idea. And if you want the woman to be your idea, then you simply need to court and vet better. But trying to mold a woman into something that they're not is simply just a waste of time. And I think that if I were to be 100% honest, based on my personal accounts, I've noticed that men do it slightly more than women do. I'm just being honest about it.
You're
I'm
saying
not
that
saying that women don't do
personal
it, but
experience or like overall?
say again.
You're saying that for your personal experience or overall?
Definitely personal experience. I'm not making a statistical analysis at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think we should come back to that, KJ. Because Biana brought it up, and then you brought up your like counter to it. So I think we can get to that. But I want to wait till at least one of the ladies come on the panel to address that, because that'll be interesting. Ray, do you want me to play the video again, or did you get the idea of what she was talking about?
I got the idea what she was talking about.
Okay, you can go ahead and give your response.
Well, Zacchaeus and I know a deceased brother that fits the narrative she was talking about, as far as this whole idea of what you see versus what you vet and take the time to know. And the thing is, we were with them as they dated. We attended his wedding, and he had a lazy mindset. And the thing is, his attitude when he explained his disposition and as to how unideal as a husband he was acting, his thing was, well, she met me this way. And that was crucial and that was key, because the thing is, if you come across, whether it be a man or a woman, if you're really vetting someone and you see that their aspirations are comatose or minimal, you don't ignore that. You don't go into a major relationship or a marriage thinking that they will change for a better, because some people don't. Because a lot of people's mentality is, you met me this way before, why do you expect me to do better? And I think we need to take that seriously. And I think that if we focus on that potential of being a great person, and in knowing that that person who you're vetting actually wants to do better and be better character wise, yeah, you can fall in love not just with the potential, but with the actual person who possesses those traits.
Absolutely. Sorry, y'all. I'm conducting business while we're doing this. I don't mean to be rude, but I definitely heard everything you guys were saying. Possible person maybe joining the conversation, so I reached out to them. So let's get back to what you proposed, Beyonda, because it's kind of interesting. You said if you can give a guess on who marries for potential more versus marrying a person versus marrying the reality of said person, you said that you think the ladies do it more. Can you elaborate on why you believe that, sir?
I would just say, based off of like the cliche mindset that women have had since they were little girls. Now, obviously, I know that's changing because of how women are changing. It's 2026. They're not being built the same. But I would say that, you had that Disney fairy tale thing that was instilled in a lot of women as they were kids growing up, which is literally the idea of a potential man fitting that like image they have for a guy that they want in the future. 'Cause I definitely think women think about marriage more than men do. So they're always thinking about the potential the guy has for their lives. I would also say that we always, you can always say that women look for a man's future and men look for a woman's past. So, I mean, I guess it's inverse of each other, I guess, because if men look for the lady to be a potential wife, right? I.e., someone that isn't damaged goods or one that hasn't been ran through. Um, but I would say in terms of like, for the dating or falling in love with the person itself without any of that stuff, I think men do that more because, like I said before, they would if I had money, right? Let's say I make 200K a year, I wouldn't mind dating someone that makes less than me, you know, just as long as she wasn't, a gold digger or anything like that, it'd be fine with me. But you don't see women doing that on the inverse. That's why I say that men are more likely to fall in love with the person than they are the actual potential. But KJ had a good point as well. I think that his points were good too. That there are guys out there that do fall for the potential and try to like fix their girlfriend. But I also see women doing that too. They always say that when the woman's with a bad guy, they always say, "Oh, he'll change, and I'm gonna be the one to change him." You'll hear that here and there and whatnot. Whether that guy cheats on her or beats her, she goes, "Oh, well, he's been through stuff and he'll change," but he never does. Um, they always ask women, "Why did you stay? Or why did you stay?" And that's always because of that. So I would say the falling in love with potential is, in my opinion, women do that more often than men do.
And if I may add to something beyond her, it also seems to me that in this day and age, based on things I see and things I hear, it seems like more than ever at this time, women, an adequate percentage of women, they want the finished product. They don't even, a lot of them don't really want that potential. They want that finished product. It's like, uh, you know, a man builds his brand, builds himself, and he has to work hard to get the type of attraction women automatically get, no matter how ugly, fugly, or attractive they are. We know that. Men have to work hard to build that attraction. So a lot of women in this day and age prefer the finished product than working with the man to get there.
KJ, you have any retort?
Um, Not necessarily retort, but definitely understanding. I definitely agree that women do want a finished product out of a man more often than not compared to their male counterparts. What I was simply what I was simply addressing with my point, the reason why I think that men do it more is because you have a lot of closeted simps. You have a lot of men that love playing that Captain Save the 304,
Mhm.
unironically. And because of that unfortunate habit that I believe personally to be a cancer amongst the male demographic, especially in the West. Um, you have far more men that will utilize um, the assets that they've gained in order to try and persuade a woman into being something that she just doesn't want to be. Um, I'm one to I'm one to assess character. What is her character like? And is this something that is compatible for me personally? Is this something that I want to deal with long term or, potentially for the rest of my life? And if that is something that I want to deal with, then hey, let's do it. I'm not going to put all my cards on the table because, we just started, but, definitely put some investment and see where it goes. Um, a lot of men like to put all their cards on the table, expecting everything to work out, and then they figure out later on that they end up dealing with the biggest disappointment, that their investment ended up going in vain. And they're wondering, well, what happened? Why did this fail? What did I do? What you did was that you invested too much and you inflated an ego in a woman that you ended up finding out, oh, she's not all that I thought that she was supposed to be. And now you're stuck in this depression or this funk trying to recover when ultimately you are responsible for leading yourself into that depression because you invested too much instead of feeling her out over time. That's a skill issue. I hate to be blunt, but that is a personal problem at best.
I think I might stand corrected because I do. He did say he spoke to the clutch of the Sims. I feel like we're getting more of those every day nowadays. With the current marketplace of sexual immorality. You got OnlyFans. All these girls making money. I saw a post on Instagram a while ago about the girl was crying because one of the fans reached out and gave her a long paragraph about how her work helps him out. I mean, that is happening more frequently now that I think about it. So I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of guys won't admit it, but to his point, you got people, paying for girls' rent, and you're seeing more of that now, just because of the fact that men are being, less masculine and just giving away their seed and their energy and their time and resources to women that they don't even know who won't even give it back. So
Man, no, literally, why are you trying to feminize a masculine woman? What do you gain from that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just too lazy. I'm not doing that. I refuse. I'm not doing that.
I don't think that's laziness, KJ. I think that you value your time and you know your worth by not doing that. That's not laziness. You would not put on here to no man is put on here to try to make a masculine woman feminine.
Yeah. I mean, unless
So
you're a
so no
simp,
no
but
and I'm just saying give yourself some more credit, man.
yeah, for real.
So, hmm, okay. When it comes to vetting, and when it comes to the promotion of vetting, typically what is presented to women to look for when going into a marriage? Because I kind of lean more towards your view, only because of what you said earlier. You said a man could. I'll give this example. I think I've said this on the TikTok before. You have seen stories where women have divorced over a potential their husband did not reach, but then you have seen men still stay married to their woman who didn't even go for their major for the college degree that they maybe went for, and they still was like, "Oh, baby, you're my wife." It is what it is. I mean, just because you didn't become a doctor don't mean you're not a good wife, you know. But there have been plenty of cases where a man may have failed at something, never achieved the goal maybe he wanted to achieve, and women have backed out. Would that mean that that would classify that as his potential, right? And if he didn't meet that potential in terms of his accomplishment, not husband, but just his accomplishment, that would count as what we're talking about, right, Beyonda?
Yeah.
So I think this is how men should vet, right? I think men need to be very realistic when they're vetting for their women. I think when you're trying to marry a woman, you need to ask her a question. You need to ask her. You need to. She's gonna want to know your plan, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with this. Women are gonna want to know your plan, the blueprint, because they need to know what they're following. Fine. So you give that blueprint, right? And say there's something that's attached to that is a future, right? And you say, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is what I think I can accomplish in such and such years. Such and such year comes, it doesn't get accomplished. So what men need to do is ask this question to their wife. Hey, wife to be, hey, if I never become this thing that you see me fighting for now, if I never become that, you still want to get married? Some women will tell you what you want to hear, or some will just tell you the truth. But I think that's something that needs to be presented on the road to marriage. What do you think, Beyonda? What do you think, Ray?
Yeah, in this day and age, the answer is yes. It's an emphatic yes.
Yeah.
Because as I said, it goes back to what I said about an adequate percentage of women wanting the finished product. So whereas men, for the most part, we'll take that McDonald's manager, McDonald's worker, and if she doesn't aspire to be great in a profession, but she got the character mostly down pat, that she makes a good mate, spouse, potential mom of kids, we good. Because because her character is kind, her character is an aspiration of being mutual despite whatever her profession is or isn't, and she'll do her best to work with us and make things mutual. Whereas whereas the person who may either desire the materialistic stuff or may possess the materialistic stuff may not have that character we're looking for in the woman who doesn't have all that. There's a lot of truth to what you said, Phil.
Yeah. KJ, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Now, this is not like a trying to be right thing, but I'm sure you've probably seen that, right? Where, and it's not like an absolute, it's not all, but I'm sure you've seen situations where, well, at least I guess from my perspective, because I'm 39, I've definitely seen married men still have, I mean, they don't miss a beat. They met their wife at a certain age. The wife said, this is what I want to do with my life. Never did that with her life. But guess what? They're still married. They still have families. They still love their wife. There's that story. Then there's the story of a man doing the best he can with something. Like I said, tried at it. We're not talking about somebody who just talks a good game but doesn't do it. But tried at it, didn't get to where they want to be. You will find situations where some women will say, well, he never accomplished that thing I thought he was going to become. And then a woman may have resentment for that man. I mean, have you seen that? Or
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
Women get away with it a whole lot more than men do. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like infidelity as well. Statistically, men cheat more, but women are far more sneaky with it. Make no mistake about it. But when we're looking at potentiality, right? The difference is that women are women are allowed a whole lot more grace when it comes to them failing in certain avenues that they're striving for. Compare and contrast that with a man. A man doesn't really have that much outlet to fail because the responsibilities are a lot more deeper for him. So when you have a man that wants to commit to a certain goal and strives to achieve that certain goal and unfortunately ends up failing in that goal, right? The real test for the woman is whether or not she really still has the same level of love for him that she did while he was grinding to get to the position that he was in, even though he failed to ultimately gain that position. Like, personal story. I So it's actually no secret. I got accepted into the school program back home in Detroit. I'm actually moving back in a week. And
Yeah.
I told my shawty, I was like, hey, with the certification, entry level positions after I get the certification, I could be getting I could be making as little as 55 annually. I could be making as much as six figures. It depends on what job I take. It depends on how committed I am to it. We also need to understand is that, you know, there are other ambitions that I might have. I want to get into, independent journalism further down the line. That's a big risk, understanding the amount of death threats that I've gotten, just being a growing figure on the internet as is, right? Um, not also understanding that there's way more potential of me failing in that avenue, as far as becoming a well-known name, right, compared to succeeding, right? But it's still something that I want to do. How I do it is that I don't say that I'm going to do this, I say that I plan to do this, and I also have a backup plan, a plan B and a plan C in case I do fail in that avenue. That way, there's no room for disappointment. Hey, is this something that I want to do? Is this something that I want to achieve? Absolutely, but I'm fully aware that I might not achieve it. So I don't want you to be, crossing your fingers and sitting on your hands waiting for something to happen and then finding out, oh, well, turns out he failed at this. It's not going to work out. I'm not even going to give you that opportunity. Oh, you said you was going to do this. You said you was going to do. Nah, I didn't say I was going to do that. I said that I wanted to do it. I never said that I was guaranteed to succeed. God has different plans for everybody. There's certain things that I want to do that is not destined for me, and I have to take it to the chin and keep it pushing. But the point is that for a man, there's way less room to fail compared to his female counterparts, and that's just the fact of the matter.
Hello, J Dub.
Hi, how are you guys?
Thank you. Welcome to Fifth at Night. For those who know her, J Dub is from the TikTok side. You know who that is, Beyonda. You know who that is, KJ.
He's
Yes,
like
I
a
do.
crap.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me drop a bomb. We're finally coming up here.
Why can we not hear the sound effects on this side? Or is it just me?
No, I can't hear it either.
Really?
I hear very little.
I hear it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
it's just probably just me.
Let me play it again.
Nah, still nothing.
Nah.
It's
Oh,
not
I heard
loud, bro.
that.
Okay. So J Dub, this is your first time using StreamYard, right? This is on YouTube, by the way, but what we're using is StreamYard to have the platform, right? The
Yeah.
panel. So when you're on here, because you're on it through your phone, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you have to turn your ringer off and mute your notifications. Okay. So you got to put your phone on silent because if you get a text or a phone call, it's going to cut your audio out and then we won't be able to hear you and you won't be able to hear us. Okay.
Okay. I mean, my notifications aren't turned on anyway.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So J Dub, the topic is, do people fall in love with you or with your potential? And so we were kind of mid conversation. But I do want to play a video that you could react to. Because I played it for the fellas and then you can give your perspective on it, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let me go ahead and pull that up because I played this earlier for the fellas.
Falling in love with potential is really, really setting yourself up for failure. It's better to just accept them for who they truly are rather than going into denial of who they've shown you who they are.
It can be a painful realization to see how you've been loving the perception you have of your partner versus actually connecting and loving with who they actually are in their core.
Look, here's the thing. It's really soul destroying when you have this false perception of your partner and you find out they've got a whole secret life behind your back and you can't believe they've duped you into this and you can't believe they've hurt you like this. But I would say that when you fall in love with your potential imagination, the person that hurts you doesn't feel much guilt. And the reason why they don't feel much guilt is because they feel like you didn't take the time to get to know the real me. You didn't fall in love with the real me. You fell in love with your own imagination. And therefore, I don't feel that guilty about hurting you because you think you fell in love with your own imagination.
Okay, JW, you was able to see and hear all of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think?
I mean, it's true. I think especially a lot of women, they fall in love with the potential. I'm not sure with men because I'm not a dude. But I think it's also hard because when you're dating, you tend to show your best like parts of you. It's kind of like an interview. And so a lot of the time, I don't think people are transparent enough. And so you really don't know them, at first, at least. Or even how when I came in, that guy was saying about how he would love to be a freelance journalist, but he wouldn't tell his person that. He would just say it's something I would like to do. But how is someone supposed to be there for you when you're not? Oh crap! When you're not being transparent, because he does want to do it. That is a dream of his. I don't know. I think we all kind of fib a little bit when we're dating. So it's like, who's to blame?
Well, I think it's perfectly normal for a woman to, because we got to go to what they typically kind of are looking for, right? If women are putting in a high importance of protection and provision, and this is before kids are even in the picture, right?
Yeah.
I can understand why they would look for the future, right? But I guess the question is, if that man doesn't become the thing that he's trying to be, is he still valuable as a husband and potential father, to said woman? Go ahead, J Dub.
Well, yeah. Why? I mean, everyone fails. You get back up and you try again, as cliche as that is. But even like the most like successful people always say, like, I failed how many times and then finally I did it, and that's why I'm here today. So I don't. Me personally, I wouldn't see them any different, but it could change for other people.
Yeah. Okay. So let me get into my questions for everyone. So do people stay with, okay. Whether it's you or other people, right? Have you ever seen someone stay with someone longer because they believed they would eventually change and wasn't worth it? Who wants to answer that first?
I'll save me for last because my DoorDash is here. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Ray, you want to go ahead?
Repeat the question, please.
Yeah. Have you or witnessed someone stay with someone longer because they believed they would eventually change? And did they think it was worth it or not?
Oh, that would be me in my naive years, definitely.
Yeah. Speak on it, brother.
My high school relationship, yeah. Not knowing any better, not having certain structures, certain advice and life lessons that I would eventually learn in subsequent relationships. I stayed longer because of the delusional hope and fallacy ideals that I had being a teenager. So yeah, I did stay long, and then as I got into my 20s, my relationships, even though they may have, some of them may have been longer, they had decreased in time, especially in comparison to how long my high school relationship was, which was 9 months. So the relationship got shorter and shorter because I realized as I grow that something Zacchaeus and I always talk about is that peace is comatose as a desire or a requirement. Not everyone desires or requires peace. Because when you do, there's certain things, there's certain meanness you won't show. And if you show that meanness, you know how to follow up. So with time, I have to say, you know, knowing myself and knowing that my time is too valuable, my relationships have gotten shorter, and that contributes to why I haven't been in one since 2008 because I just don't have time for that nonsense.
So I'll repeat the question. Have you or witnessed someone stay with someone longer because you or they believe they would eventually change? And was it worth it? Beyonda, you want to go? J-Dub, who wants to answer that? Go ahead, Beyonda.
Yeah, I'll go. There's a guy that I know. I won't say his name. I used to work with him at a store. Cool guy, very nice. He's very chill. But his girlfriend, who I think he's still with her after all this time, she's attractive and whatnot, but she's just like a bad person. Not good at all. Very crass, very rude, doesn't respect authority, to my knowledge, from what I've seen. I was there the last day she quit. She literally had made a Snapchat about her peeing in the girls' bathroom, like on the floor though. She peed on the floor because she got fired, and her reaction to getting fired was making a Snapchat about her peeing on the floor of the bathroom. And I know for a fact he knows she did that because it was literally talked about for a long time, and I'm sure to get back to him, he's still with her, right? But to that, I don't know if he's with her because she might change. I think he's with her because that's all he can get, because he's not. One thing about him is that he's not an ugly dude at all. He can get anyone he wants, but because he thinks that she's like out of his league, I guess he's stuck with her because maybe he can't get anyone else after her in his mind. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know the nooks and crannies of their whole situation, but she's not likable at all. There are she's likable sometimes, but for the most part, she's just not a good person to be with. She's displayed behaviors time and time again since I've known her, or while I knew her. Of just her not being a good person. In my head, I'm like, hey, you have the looks. That's all you got. So, but her personality, her behavior, it's not it. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's the only example that I can think of someone staying with the other person. I don't know. Maybe he thinks that she can change. I don't know. Yeah.
J-Dub. So yeah,
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
because you could say it again one more time.
Yeah. Have you or you witnessed someone stay with someone longer because they believed or you believed they would eventually change, and was it worth it?
I did with my ex husband. He was really abusive, and every time, it was just a cycle of abuse. He would apologize and say, he wants to do better, and um, I really wanted to keep our family together because it means a lot. But that's you realize that you have to like think about the facts over feelings and really stay in the now because sorry if it's loud over here, but because that potential is just that, it's potential. Like it's not for certain. And actually now it's hasn't even, yeah, I don't know. But yes, definitely I have. And it was not worth it whatsoever. I feel like I wasted a lot of years on someone who wasn't loving me the way I should. And yeah, I wouldn't suggest that for anyone. Focus on the now. I would say more, but I would go on for days. But I can't believe that person peed in the bathroom. That's wild.
Yeah, she cursed out a customer. I think I was there. Actually, I was there. I was there.
I
She
done
Was it
hit,
cursed out a
Walmart?
customer,
I
and
done hit the wrong button. I meant to play this.
she cursed out a customer, and like the store manager, which he was kind of like a pussy anyway, but he didn't want to fire her because
Beyond a bit.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. No, he was she should have been fired a long time ago. I'm not even I'm keeping 1,000, but she's a pretty girl and whatever, and
Things like Walmart activities. Was it
yeah,
Walmart?
no, I can't
Oh,
say where she cursed out a customer. He fired her. She was mad, boo hoo, peed in the bathroom. Smelled terrible, by the way, because you walk by it, you really smell it. Yeah, it was bad, bad. Yeah.
Smell like cat piss, huh?
Well,
was it drinking
like,
enough water or what?
like rotten eggs, I'd say.
Ew.
Rotten
Oh,
eggs.
she must got a yeast infection.
Oh, that's gross.
Brother,
Well,
ugh.
it could have been. It could have been the bathroom with her pee, but yeah, I guess so.
Oh
My God.
yeah, that's crazy. KJ, let me repeat the question, okay?
Please.
Have you or you ever witnessed someone who stayed with someone longer because they believed they would eventually change? And if
Oh
so, was
yeah.
it worth it?
It was my last relationship. Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
That's why I'm so passionate about it. I was I was I was once that simp that I speak so negatively about. And I'm fully transparent about it. The relationship, how it started off was messed up. Um, how it went on about, you know, she was fresh out of a relationship when me and her got together, which that was the first red flag. But because I liked her, I met her at work. I wanted to pursue her. Um, I was so hyperfixated with the minimal attention that I was getting from her that before I knew it, I was simping, and I was really allowing my attraction to her to overtake the rationale of do I even want to continue this relationship. I thought that if I endure the hardships, the unnecessary hardships of that relationship, that maybe she'll come around, maybe she'll appreciate me. But she told me multiple times, she was like, "Hey, I'm not ready to love. I'm not ready to do this. I'm not ready to do that." She said that multitudes of times, and I ignored it. So I really don't have nobody to blame but myself. She warned me on multiple occasions that she was not ready to reciprocate what I was giving to her. You know, the investments, the providing, all of those things. She said she wasn't ready, and I didn't listen. So I got in my feelings around going around her birthday, which was March of last year, and we got into this heated argument. And one thing was said, another thing was said. Ended up blocking her, And next thing I know, she ended up hitting me up on this burner phone, threatening me, saying I gotta watch my back because I said that she was moving weird or something like that. And you know, it's behind me, but I got a big wake up call that day, and I had to do a whole lot of reevaluation over the next course of um 6 to 9 months, figuring out, well, where did I go wrong? I may not have did anything wrong to her per se, but what I did wrong was continue to pursue a relationship that was obviously a fail before it even started. And that was because that was because the thought of her reciprocating was what I was attracted to. And I wasn't paying enough attention to the fact that she wasn't reciprocating enough and that I needed to leave as soon as possible. And it left me in a funk for like a good 6, 7, 8, 9 months after we broke up. And now that I'm over it, I know what not to do. I learned the hard way, and that's my problem. So yeah.
I wanted to add too that, at least for me in my situation, it wasn't just that I stayed for, the potential, but also afraid of them having that potential with another girl. You know what I mean? Like another girl getting the guy that I knew he could become, or knew that he he could become, like, with someone else. And then when I finally realized that, our dynamics as a couple together are already set in stone and not good. So it doesn't really matter what he does with her, like with other women. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my business anymore. And he wasn't good to me, so that should be the end. You know what I mean? But it took me, 13 years to realize that. So
I
that
can
was hard.
understand that because, like, you don't want to be with someone and they're like not transformed into the person they should be becoming, and
Yeah,
then you leave them, and all of a sudden they're doing fantastic when they could have been doing that with you for 13 years.
exactly.
I get that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a movie called Acrimony that's kind of like that. It's a Tyler Perry film where
I don't
this
want to
guy.
relive my nightmare. No, I'm just joking.
I watched that. I watched that.
Yeah, Acrimony is an interesting story. Kind of all over the place because it's Tyler Perry, but there is a moral to the story. It was kind of a man who
What?
had a
Tyler
lot of.
Perry movie have morals? I
Yeah,
would never guess.
well, I don't know. I mean, I'll say there's a point
Think
to
the
the
lesson.
message.
Yeah.
Is that the
I'll,
one where, like, the girl, like, gives up all her everything so this guy can start up his business or something, and then as soon as he does, he leaves her and he gives her like a tiny amount of money or something? Is
well,
that one or
actually,
no?
you have it half right.
Oh, okay.
She kicked him out,
Oh, she did?
and when she kicked him out, while he was out, then that deal came in on his invention that he'd been working on for so long.
Oh.
And then he cut her a check. But yeah, she ended a relationship.
Didn't one of them end up like unaliving? I don't know if you could say that on here, but
You can say unalive, you just can't say KILL. Kind of like
okay,
TikTok. TikTok and YouTube have similar guidelines.
okay.
Yeah, so yeah, she ended up. This was Taraji P Henson's character.
I love that.
She ended up on the yacht at the end of the film, and yeah, she ended up ending. Well, trying to end both of their lives, but she ended up ending her own life because an anchor from a boat hooked on her leg.
Wow.
But
And
she wanted to claim her husband back because she's like, oh, no. The new woman you got right now ain't about to benefit off of all of this. And then he's like, yeah, but you didn't want to be with me anymore. And I still broke you off a piece of the pie. You could, the house, your mother's house. I bought your mother's house for you. I did all of this stuff for you post marriage. Yeah, that's what happened in that movie. And J Dub, I actually applaud your transparency because not many people, I'm not just going to say women, but not many people are going to say here and admit that, wow, you know, I was kind of concerned about what they could be to the next person. But I do like the fact that you did come to terms from a peace standpoint that your peace with it is, it has nothing to do with you anyway.
Yeah.
Because of what he was with you. It's more about you getting away from that situation, not about what happens with another woman.
Oh, exactly.
And you know what? He could be the same man to the same to a different woman,
Oh,
or he could be a changed man to the woman. Regardless, it's not your problem no more. Go ahead, J-Dub.
You know, now that I'm like, I won't say I'm healed because that's, you know, healing isn't linear, but now that I like see past my like rose-colored glasses or whatever, I want him to be a great man because he's the dad to my kids. Like, I want him to be healthy and like not toxic for my kids, but he needs to want that too. And he did not. He was not a great guy. He had how many other girlfriends, and they all wanted to be my friend. It was very odd situation, but I'm happy that I went through all that because it really did help my healing. But yeah, I don't know.
So,
but thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Did everybody answer the question? I feel kind of like lost. Sorry, because I'm trying to like produce the show at the same time. Did everybody answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the next one. At what point does believing in someone's potential become making? Hold on. Actually, let me do this before I get to that, because that's the accountability part. Are men and women attracted to different kinds of potential? Because I think both men and women do have the potential in mind for marriage. It's just in a different way. We could say who does it more, but we could just talk about how the reality is. Both men and women are marrying, and within that marriage is a potential aspect. So are men and women attracted to different kinds of potential? Examples: women looking for ambition, leadership, earning potential. Men looking for women who have nurturing qualities, loyalty, motherhood, and just emotional growth. Who wants to answer that first?
I mean, that's hard because how are we supposed to know what the opposite gender is attracted to, you know?
No. The question is, are men and women... So this is what the question is. Are men and women attracted to different kinds of potential? So I mentioned the things that women highlight more, and that is ambition, leadership, and earning potential. And then I also gave example of what men typically look for: nurturing qualities, loyalty, motherhood, emotional growth. So I'll answer it to kind of help y'all, because I haven't even answered anything here. So this is what I think I do. I think I'm looking for, I mean, I'm not married, but, you know, I would be vetting a woman's nurturing qualities. I would, because I want kids with the woman, right? So I'm going to want to know, you know, because we don't have kids yet. So I don't know what kind of mother she is today because she's not a mother, but I am going to be looking for qualities that when we do have kids, what are the things that the kids are going to get from her? What is the things that she's going to be teaching? What are the things that they're going to be seeing? You know? So you're going to want to see that motherhood part, because I think if a woman is nurturing, then as men, we can say, you know what? I could see that quality going into the motherhood portion and how she treats the children. It's not going to be the same how she treats you. But if a woman is nurturing to you as a man, then I think the guess would be that she's going to be nurturing the children, right? In terms of loyalty, yeah, I mean, you want to know what kind of woman you got. You know, you want to know if you got the kind of woman that's with you when you're not making a lot. The thing would be, well, at some point, you know, she'll be with me, you know, in the struggle. What is that term we say, Beyonda? She was with me when I was in the mud, and now we here, and she's still here, you know? And so I think a lot of men, depending on where they are in their life financially, they want to know if they get in the kind of woman that is with them only because they're thriving right now, but are they going to be with them when they're not thriving? So we need to talk about also what happens when things don't go well, right? As far as the financial part. And in terms of emotional growth, right? Well, from an emotional intelligence standpoint, I mean, you definitely want to know if you got the kind of woman who handles conflict well, communication, you know, there are things that you're going to want to know how she's going to handle things. So you're going to be vetting that. Men don't typically vet a woman's earning potential, not in the capacity that women do for men, because for the most part, we're not really getting a woman's money. Do we want to help her? Absolutely, right? But we're not looking for the woman to pay all the bills per se. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand the difference there. So anybody else want to go after that? Because I kind of just basically laid down what I'm expecting from the question. Ray, you're off mute. You can go.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, definitely, because I do see your point, and if I were to vet, and anytime I do vet, the one for me, first and foremost, peace, as I always say. Um, and peace doesn't mean you got to be robotic. It doesn't mean you always acquiesce. It goes to what you mentioned before as far as how you handle conflict, because there will be. And you have to know if the person's going to be babyish, childish, um, argumentative, delusionally entitled, and all that other stuff. You need to know that. And if they show that and they defend that without the consideration of attempting to do better and be better as a person, you got your answer. And as the individual who you see in the mirror, you have to vet yourself as well, as far as who you aspire to be. Especially if you yourself want to do better and be better as the individual in any role, personal or what have you. So, as far as the things you list and what men typically look for, I'd say you're on point. As far as how we focus more on her character, her internal, her mental, her mindset, whereas
The intangibles.
yeah, right, exactly, yeah. So you're on point, Biff.
I would say yes to the question. Um, it's important to know that the attraction between men and women are asymmetrical. So we look at different things in each other, but there are things that overlap. You know, but I do think that you pretty much laid out the answer for the question. Saying that um, when men are looking for their potential wife, it is a lot different than women looking for their potential husband, because the things that they're looking for are going to oppose each other. What men look for isn't what or it's not what women look for. Um, like as a man, I'm not looking for someone to you know provide in a financial manner, but women do. So yeah.
Yeah. You pretty much said it all, like you said. But I was gonna add that I know this isn't the question, but I don't think anyone's vetting at all anymore. I think they're getting into relationships so quickly that you don't even know the person. And so that's why everything went to shit, I think. Because a lot of the time, women are just looking to see if the person has money, and the guy's just looking if she looks good. That's what I feel. Of course, I'm not dating, so I don't really know, but that's what I see with like TikTok or my friends and stuff like that. And I really think personally that you should see all how they handle all their emotions, and that goes for men and women. I think that's the most important thing. But that's just me. But I do agree with you. I think men and women see different things and are attracted to different qualities for sure.
So can you say one of the things that you're looking for? You're the only woman on the panel right now. So can you say one of the things that you typically look for, vet for, or witness women vet for, or what you would teach women to vet for?
I don't know if I can answer that because my type is red flags. So I don't think I'm working on that because I know it's bad. Um, but that's why I have not been dating. I don't talk to anyone. But I think it's what I said. What I probably is right now, I would look for how they handle their emotions, how they regulate their emotions, if they're emotionally intelligent, if they just handle them. Because like you were talking about, if a guy loses his job, is he just going to be on the couch all day, or is what's his mindset for that? Like a lot of the time, men feel um, that their ego is what's that called? They feel like demasculized maybe when the woman's working. And
Emasculated is what you're
thank
saying?
you, thank you. Um, but I think that all has to do with your mindset. Like I always say that being broke is a mindset. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I would definitely see how he handles all his emotions: anger, sadness, happy, all that, joy. And just really how he treats me. I don't care about anything else. I just want a guy who has kindness, which I need to step up because that's not enough. But it's hard to say. I'm sorry.
That's your perspective now, being that you've been married before. But what was your perspective when you wasn't married? How did you vet then? What did you vet for back then, or did you vet at all? Because
No.
you brought up a point earlier about people not vetting like they used to. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, not at all. He was my first boyfriend ever. And we met through friends, but we got married after 4 months. I did not vet for crap. Like my circumstances leading up to that was not good. And I think that played a major role. And then a lot of other stuff happened why we got married so fast. But I would have married him anyway. Like the love was there because that's just a uncontrollable feeling. It's an emotion. But yeah, I didn't vet at all, at all, at all.
Well, vetting requires dating, I would say. Like the dating dynamic in 2026 isn't even dating, to be honest. So people aren't really not really dating. And it's hard to get to know someone off of the phone. So you get a if the person says all the right things at the right time in the way you want it, then people can be confused and say, "Oh yeah, this is the person that I want to be with." But then in real life, they get with that person and are seeing a different person completely. There was episodes about this on Black Mirror. Um, the girlfriend's boyfriend passed away in a car accident, and she was like distraught and couldn't live without him. And so what they did was there was this program. It's like a prototype program, and they would they took all of their phone conversations, right? Like through text, Snapchat,
Yeah.
whatever. And they put it into this real life person. But it wasn't it was a real person, but it really wasn't. So
Uh-huh.
whenever he talked to her, it was what he would say
Oh, I think I saw it.
through text. But it wasn't
Uh-huh.
really him though, because who you are on the phone isn't who you are in real life. That was kind of the premise of the whole episode.
I see. I don't agree with that though. That whole thing is weird, but I don't agree with it because I even think that long distance relationships would be better because you're not adding the intimacy or the schmexual part, and you actually get to
Yeah,
know the person because you could lie to someone to their face. People do it all the time. Men say all the time that they lie just to smash.
Yeah, that's a,
So that's what I'm saying. Like
that's
you
true.
can lie to your face easily. Just like it's just like people like you. If you're gonna cheat, you're gonna cheat regardless of where you are. You know, if you're gonna lie, it's gonna be everywhere. That's how I feel.
I just think we're in an age of keyboard warriors where everyone, has a voice. They can say what they want. And so I think that translates to dating, where it's like, as long as I say the right things, then I can pretty much get anyone I want. As long as, obviously you have to be attractive to a certain degree. You can't be ugly, right?
But then, like,
But
what's ugly? Because beauty is subjective. Someone's gonna think they're cute,
I
right?
mean, it is, but there is beauty that like most people will agree on. That's why there's like magazines and all kind of stuff.
Uh, I guess I was gonna
I
say
don't
something.
see that. I don't see that as like something that I like, but I think like collectively when when you're looking at magazines and people on the carpet,
Yeah,
people would generally think, oh yeah, they're attractive or whatever,
yeah. I totally forgot what I
KJ,
was gonna say, but I agree with that.
KJ.
Yes, sir.
All right, you heard what was going on, basically, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. So are men and women attracted to different kinds of potential?
Mm, yeah, yeah. I think I see. Yeah, but the I think the type of potential that a woman is generally attracted to is the potential of what a man can provide, and I think the potential. Well, the potential is for both of them what they can provide, but it's in different ways. I'm just trying to figure out how to articulate it. Um, for men providing on an asset basis, uh, financial, um, et cetera, et cetera. Woman providing what can she potentially bring to him that is improving for his life. You hear a lot of these red pilly men that like to talk about can you cook, can you clean, blase, blase. It's just like, right, you could do that yourself. You a grown man and you don't know how to cook. Come on, man. I love cooking. That's why I'm fat. it's, it's like we gotta we just gotta be honest. Uh I think they both yeah, I think men and women both are attracted to the potential of providing, just providing different things, if that makes sense.
So KJ, the examples that I gave was women typically are coached to look at the ambition of a man, his leadership, his future, his earning potential, as whereas men, we're looking at a woman's nurturing qualities, loyalty, if what kind of mother could she be to our children,
Hmm.
So I mentioned kind of like you have your tangibles and then you have your intangible things within the potential, because the potential aspect is on both sides of the male and the female, but I think it's just like men are not looking for a woman to protect and provide for them, clearly.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that,
Or at least
and it's
not to the same degree, I would say.
right. So the idea, that question is that we understand the nature of both the men and the woman. It's not that we're blaming anything, but we just know that there are going to be things that are at the top of their list. I think we each have a list, right? And let's say we have a list of 10, the male and the female, right? But I think
Hmm.
what's going to happen is what could be number 5, what could be number 8 for a man will be number 2 for a woman, and vice versa,
Yeah.
depending on what it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Our priorities are different
Yeah.
when it comes to betting. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we all want similar things, but I just think we just place it in different numbers on the number scale. If we were doing a number scale, we would put them on a different place.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
there are some things that men are willing to accept and do without, as long as everything else is there. There are some things that women are not willing to do without, and vice versa. You see what I'm saying?
But
It
why
could go either
settle?
way.
That
What'd you
kind of
say?
feels like settling, right?
You said it kind of feels like settling.
Yeah, when you said like there's some stuff that people could live without, like if they have other stuff, why wouldn't you want to find the person who has everything you want?
Because you're never going to find somebody that's going to give you 100% of what you want. We're grown. We're
Really?
adults. You don't get everything that you want.
Well,
And if
no,
you
it's
do
not.
get everything that you want, it definitely ain't gonna last.
I don't know,
Like
because I feel
if
like
you
there
want
is
every
a
if
perfect
you want
person
somebody to give
for
you
you.
everything, go find a sugar baby. Go find somebody to trick. I don't know. That's that's irrational.
Maybe I guess it depends on what your standards are, or what like you're looking for, or what you want.
Yeah.
Because not
Some
every.
people have too high standards.
Well, J Dub, there's standards and there's preferences.
So what's the difference? I'm not.
So a standard would be a woman who is respectful and kind. A preference would be a woman with a fat butt and big breasts.
Okay, okay.
Exactly. So once you know the difference between standards and preferences, uh, there are certain things that can go one way and one can go another way. You see what I'm
Shout
saying?
out to my
Yeah,
fully
because I feel
figured
like
women.
standards you shouldn't settle, but like preferences I think can change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
looks change anyway. Not saying it's all looks, but yeah.
Right. Because when we have a list, our list is comprised of standards and preferences. But
Yeah.
what happens is that we confuse preferences with standards and standards with preferences.
Mhm. That makes
So,
sense.
right. So when you said settling, I mean, settling is not settling is a word that is thrown out there to be a buzzword for things that could be good or bad. The thing is, every man and woman is going every woman and every man is going to settle at some point, right? You're going to settle to be with someone or you're going to settle to be by yourself, but you will settle. And you know what? I think we look at it this way. So the words that I'm going to use is just accepting reality. So there's a reality aspect within the settling, and then there's good settling. I grew up hearing men say, it's time for me to settle down, marry, and have some kids. In my community, when I heard that, that was said in a positive way.
Yeah.
Also, in my community, when women said, oh, so I have to settle, that the way they said it was in a negative way.
Yeah. But when the guy's saying it, he's talking about like settling his life, not so much settling for a specific person. Like not going so crazy. Right. That's how I take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's widely understood when men say it. But when women say it, they always it's just mostly said in like a bad way. Like I never heard a woman say, well, they probably just won't use that word, but I never heard a woman say, it's time for me to settle and start a family. I wish women would say that, but I don't typically hear women say that. Women typically say, I refuse to settle. That's what I hear.
Yeah. You're right.
It's just the nature and the context of how it is said and who they're talking to and who they're talking about. But I
Not
think we all have that. Go ahead, Beyonda.
not to mention there's bad settling on both parties. I would
Yes.
say the bad settling for a guy is a guy that chooses a woman that is obviously attractive, physically attractive, because that's the only woman that he can get. But she's like crass and rude and obnoxious. And a lot of times when guys settle, they settle for a woman that's already has like a lot of baggage or like, a lot of she's been ran through to a certain degree. So guys will settle for that because they don't have the confidence to find one that respects them for who they are. So if he has money and a good lifestyle, he'll settle for the woman, even though he knows that she'll walk over him. But then the woman's settling for that guy because that's the only guy that will take her seriously at her age, or despite all of her baggage. So it's bad settling on both sides.
Or they're just made for each other because you attract what you are or what you think you deserve. But I have a question. It has to do with what you were saying about how like the nurturing and being a good mom and stuff like that. If that's true for a lot of men, how come they look so down upon single moms? Like if they're already a good mom and you see that, how come it has the stigma that it has?
J-Dub, are you referring to men who don't have children and haven't had that part of their life yet, or are you referring to men who already have children?
Just men in general. Because there's a stigma for single moms that men don't want to be with them. And it's not, I mean, the man could have kids too. I've heard it from both sides.
May I?
Go ahead, KJ, because I got a video to play after you answer that. Go ahead.
Okay. First and foremost, the stigma came from them. It didn't come from men. Um, Make no mistake about it. There's a fundamental difference between a single mother and a delusional mother that just so happens to be single. Um, you have a single mother who is widowed, divorced, or doesn't really work out, but you can see through her character that she isn't this, you know, low down type of woman, F all men type of woman. The reason why the stigma is so prevalent is because there's an attitude from a lot of single mothers that if a man wants to be with them, that the man is obligated to care for the child. Most men are starting to realize that I'm not obligated to take care of nobody's kid that ain't mine. Not even just that, but also the fact that um you have a lot of men who want to have their own legacy. Now, this is no shade on stepfathers, especially given the fact that I'm a stepchild myself, but vast majority of men don't want to be stepdads. They don't want to be taking care of another man's kid. Yeah, I put it like this. That's like playing off of another man's same game data file. That's like playing off another man's 2K. Don't nobody want to do that. You like to build your own career. Be like, oh yeah, that's mine. You know, the same logic with kids. So when you have a lot of women that will put that obligation, well, if you're gonna be with me, you're gonna have to take care of my kids. It sounds like an ultimatum, and I don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm not doing that. So the at the end of the day, yeah, there's a stigma, but the stigma is based off of the narrative that a lot of the delusional mothers that just so happen to be single put out when it comes to single motherhood. Single mothers per se aren't bad people. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes the relationship or the marriage didn't work out. Sometimes your spouse unfortunately passed away, right? There's a wide variety of things that could lead to single motherhood, but it's the attitude that follows thereafter that a lot of women refuse to acknowledge or hold each other accountable for.
I
Fellas, am I
appreciate,
lying?
yeah, I appreciate that answer. My brain works really weird, so it could just be me, but I understand there could be a divorce and that woman has horrible attitude too towards men, I just, I don't know. And I never understood the whole take care of the kid. How are you going to be in a house? Like, let's say you guys are living together. How are you going to be in a house and not take care of the people in the house? And I'm not for dating, nothing like that. I just don't see how you would split things up.
J Dub, there are plenty. I'll let everybody else answer that too. But J Dub, there are plenty of men that will marry a woman with children. He just may have children of his own as well.
No, I know. I don't know because I don't really see it that often. But the stigma for single moms isn't the same for single dads. That's why I was just asking because you said a lot of men, want to see that she's nurturing or that she could be a good mom. So it seems like it would be the opposite.
Well, if we're being honest, single women who don't have any children want that too with men. They want to know what kind of father They want to know what kind of father he's going to be. They get. I think if women are being honest, women with no kids still want a man with no kids first. Now, secondary, they may say, well, if he's got a kid, okay, maybe he could have one. Or I need to know how old the kid is. So I know what's being said, but plenty of women, if we talking in real life, most women with no children, I just want to make sure I make this clear, with no children still want a man with no children.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, anything you want, is fair. I don't really think life is fair or unfair.
Well, maybe not anything, because I know men who have children and don't want a woman with kids. I think that's not fair. Because you got kids yourself,
Yeah.
I've seen that. We had a conversation 2 weeks ago. Well, it was either a week ago or 2 weeks ago, last episode, I think it was last episode. We talked about women with a crazy, whole facts, 304 pass, and the man who has a 304 pass himself, but he got an issue with the woman. And then I was saying to myself, well, brother, if you was in the streets, then you can't get mad at the woman for being in the streets if you was in the streets too. But then I mentioned that for the men who are not in the streets, they can still ask for a woman who at least, wasn't in the streets like that. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying.
And goes, beggars can't be choosers. That's how it goes.
My mom used to always say that.
Right. Let me read.
But to your,
go ahead. No, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say this devil's advocate, right? For guys who have kids who don't want a woman who has kids, right? Is it unfair on surface? I mean, yes, but to KJ's point, the stigma about single moms came from men. So if I'm a guy and I see a single mom and I see how she acts or whatever, single moms kind of have a whole lot of stress on them because they're the ones doing literally everything. Not saying, you know what I mean? So it kind of changes, it makes them more masculine almost. So since that's the case, a lot of guys aren't going to want to go for that because she might have masculine traits that go with it, I'm not saying that's I'm not saying every single mom has masculine traits, but you can get a handful of them and you're going to get a bunch of them that have masculine traits because they're doing everything, disciplining their kids, This is assuming that the dad was never there. If the dad's not there, that's even worse. But if the dad's there, it's a little bit of stress relief from that mom's shoulders at least,
Yeah, that makes sense. And I want to say one more thing and then we can get off this subject, but the legacy that the dad passes down is just the last name and half of his DNA, but the actual legacy, the mitochondrial DNA, is passed down through the mom. Just so everyone knows. And you can really take the other kids, you can have them have your last name, you can adopt them, if it got to that point.
Yeah, but children are the seed of the father.
No, and I mean it's both. So both the DNAs, but the powerhouse, cell, the mitochondria DNA, whatever that name is, it's hard to say. It unalives the dad's one, and then only the moms get passed down. So
Yeah. Well,
But
I don't really have a study on that, but I'll just read this comment.
I got it.
Alpha, the first one says, taking a woman with children from another man make you a genetic loser. He got the pleasure of making the baby. You get the pain of raising his legacy.
I mean, if you're with that woman, though, you get the pleasure every night of the act of making a baby.
You mean once he makes a new baby with you?
I mean, no, you could have schmecks and not make a baby, you know? If you're with the woman, obviously that's going to be happening if you're raising that kid, you know? Right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I think you're trying to be funny.
No. What
Well,
he's saying makes, I mean, I get it, but it makes no
yeah.
sense because you're having schmecks with that woman all the time.
No, the sense that he's making is that being a stepfather for a lot of men who have been stepfathers in their lives, they would say that sometimes that's a thankless job because he is not the natural seed bearer of that arrangement of how this child came to be. And I would say this, J Dub, I've seen many situations. I don't have a stat, to be fair. I've seen many situations where the second baby father who marries the woman, let's say, his connection to his kid is very different from the connection of your kid that you didn't have with him. Because that's his seed versus a seed that's not his. Now, let's just say he's a well-behaved child. Thank God for that, because that makes things a little easier. But that kid is not flesh of his flesh and bone of his bone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, yeah. It's just like, siblings who share the same mom and were in the same stomach and womb. They are closer because they did share that compared to siblings who come from the dad, And I'm not talking about the parents wise, I'm just talking about siblings. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I probably wouldn't have said what. Shout outs to the man who left the comment. I probably wouldn't have said you have the pain of raising his legacy. I probably wouldn't have said that. But the reality is that is someone else's kid. But I will tell you this, J Dub. I could name a situation. I can name a situation where the son has let the stepfather feel like the real father, and that would be Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal, the man who raised him, is not his biological father.
Yeah, the same with my brother.
Yeah. But is that every kid? No.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Fizz,
go ahead,
you want to know?
KJ.
You want to know what this reminded me of?
What's up?
And it's a little messy. You remember a few years ago that viral video of that guy that only brought McDonald's back for for his kid and not his kid's siblings? You
Yes,
remember
sir.
that?
I remember that.
That's what that remind me of for some odd reason. But that's where my mind instantly went.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
that.
yeah, that was. I'm still on the side, by the way.
I just think with that whole thing, it's like I would feed everyone. I would feed all the kids in my neighborhood. Like if they want food, or I would never bring, like if my kids had a sleepover, I would never just bring, or even with their cousins, like I wouldn't just bring McDonald's for my kid. Like that's odd to me, but I would do that with all kids. So if you're not that way, I get it. He could have gone out to the car and ate it with him, but in front of, I don't know. I just feel bad for the kids.
Yeah, I mean, like, was it kind of low? Yeah, but the reason why I'm on this side was because of the entitlement that a lot of women were projecting. Oh, if you gonna get food for my kid, you got to get food for my other kids too. He don't got to do nothing.
Yeah,
He
of
he
course
don't
not.
got. He's only the only kid that he has to take care of. The only kid that he has to answer to is his, the one that came out of his balls, not another man's.
Yeah, but that's
That's
just a. I'm sorry.
no. Go ahead, go ahead. You got
No,
it.
no, go ahead. I was gonna say something, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's like a, and I'm not nothing against you because I do believe he has the choice and he can do whatever he wants and that is his child. But that is like it just shows you how much a lot of men use children as like the as like leverage too, because that's all for the mom to feel bad. Like he did that, in my opinion, so the mom felt like shit. You know what I mean? It wasn't about the kids.
Language, J Dub.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It wasn't about the children. It was about making the mom feel less than. That's what I think. So, and a lot of exes do that. They use kids as leverage, men and women. But I think it's wrong. And
I would walk that line very carefully on this sense. What we got was a clip. Could it be that because she pulled out her phone, that should have been a private moment between her and that man, but she pulled out that phone. It could have been a way to paint him to look bad because she was using the kid as leverage on her side because she has other kids that are not his. And I know you just, admitted that both men and women could do that. But being that we don't know the full story, I mean, that could be the situation. I mean, I get what you're saying about let the kid come to the car. You do have a lot of situations with mothers and co-parents, or situations where they're not allowing the child to leave the house. Yeah. So then the only thing the father can do is bring it to the house. If he had it his way, I'm pretty sure he would have been like, well, let me get my son for the night, and then he can give him all the McDonald's he want.
Yeah, I think it was bad on both sides, and it just showed you bad co-parenting.
Yeah.
People need to do better.
Right. All right. Let me play this video I wanted y'all to react to, okay?
Never marry potential, marry reality. That's worth remembering the rest of your life. Somebody drop that in the comments. Don't marry potential, marry reality. If she's heavy right now, she may stay heavy the rest of y'all marriage. Don't go on no promise. Oh, I'm gonna lose the weight before the wedding. He doesn't go to church right now. There's a chance he may never go. So if you hook up with him, that's the reality. Now, you can believe God for a miracle, but whoever you hook up with, that's what it is right now. My question to every single watching is, what are your non-negotiables? If you're a bruh, what's your non-negotiables? You're a lady watching this, what are your non-negotiables?
So, my question following that video is this. At what point does believing in someone's potential become making excuses for them?
Say that again.
At what point does believing in someone's potential become making excuses for them?
I guess whenever other people over time bring it up, like bring up their inadequacies to you, and years later you still take up for that person. I would say that. Like when other people
right away
about it, that's when it's kind of a problem. But like people in like your closest circle and your family, that's who you're gonna listen to anyway. But like if they're the ones telling you that's a problem, then that's a problem. That's it.
Ray, you have anything on that?
Repeat the question.
At what point does believing in someone's potential become making excuses for them? The reason why I asked that question is because with the video, he said, if you're with a woman who's, he named examples, if she big now, she might be still big, or if a man don't go to church, he may not never go to church. You could believe God for it, but at the end of the day, the reality is what it is. When you're marrying someone, you're marrying the reality of that person of today, regardless of their potential. So if they don't become the very thing that it could be, at what point does believing in someone's potential become just making excuses for them and beyond? Go ahead.
It's when you ignore the realistic existence of the actual. Because what happens is a person may verbalize potential and say, yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then what happens is you become so into that person where instead of instead of accentuating the standards and accentuating the standards from that person that person should already be exercising and keeping their word as far as growth, as far as you know, actually coming true to saying what they claim they're gonna do. It becomes excuses when on your end when you don't hold the person to their word and you don't hold and when you ignore the actual and focus on the potential for whatever delusional convenience of the relationship is.
Well said. What you think, J Dub?
I think right away. I think as soon as you're not, because the what for okay, first of all, the examples he gave were on different sides of the spectrum because religion and stuff, that's your morals. That's like way different than physical appearance, in my opinion. But why would you marry someone that you're not in love with her now? You're not in love with the way she looks because you're hoping she loses weight. Or why would you marry someone who's not equally yoked? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. I think right away is when you're doing yourself a disadvantage because you're already it's a dream. It's it's not real. You're marrying someone that you're not even really in love with. That's how it feels to me. And like the Beyonder said, uh, how do I word this? Because like in my relationship, when my friends would say, "Oh, you need to leave him. That's not good." Blah blah blah. Right? It gave me even more like how do I say it? It made me want to stay even more and prove them wrong. Like, no, he's a good guy. I know he is. He's just doing all this shit. I'm sorry. He's just doing all this stuff because he's going through something or whatever the excuse was. But instead of making me want to leave, it made me want to prove them wrong. And I don't think we should wait until it's other people seeing what we saw in the beginning. Like, why are we waiting until someone else goes, oh, he's not doing this, like you said, blah, blah, blah. You knew that from the start.
KJ,
Yes.
at one point, does believing in someone's potential become making excuses for them?
Mm, I believe probably the same thing that Beyonce said when it's come to your attention that they've been stagnant for a significant amount of time and you're still making excuses for them. I would probably yeah I would say I would echo the same thing that he said. Um, there's a lot of there's a lot of people that wants people to be something and they don't want to give up because they don't want their investment to be in vain. Um, that's why I said earlier, you don't ever invest with your whole hand. You don't ever put all cards on the table. Just put a few of them, and then gradually increase if it's moving in the direction that you want it to move, but never go all in. Um, that's a big risk with a very low reward outcome.
So you guys would marry a girl. Let's use the example he made. You would marry a girl thinking that she would lose weight after, or she would lose weight before the marriage.
I don't know about these other fellas. I could care less about her losing weight. I love that. I love that kangaroo pouch y'all got. I said what I said. I love that.
Or do
Jeez,
a
like,
different example. Like, are we really going through a whole like contract with the United States and each other? And it's based on not now? We're waiting until they show us that time went on and it still didn't change. It just seems so, and I did it, but I'm just saying it seems odd now looking back.
Well, no,
J Dub. I'm sorry, Bianca. J Dub.
Yeah.
How many women would marry a man with no job?
Well, I did. So I don't know.
Outside of you?
I don't know. Depending on her confidence, I think.
Okay. So unemployment is something you can change, right?
Yeah, if you have that mindset.
Is weight something you can change?
Yes.
Is height something you could change?
Yep. Get some forces.
I'll ask it again. Is
She
height
said
something
get
you can
some
change?
force.
I mean, they have surgeries for that, so technically, yes.
I'm gonna ask a question again. J Dub, is height something you can change?
I already said my answer. No, I guess not. I mean, you can, but are men rich like that? I don't know. And then your shins are gonna look weird. Okay, no, you can't change it.
Thank you. So I do understand the weight thing. Honestly, this is what I want to say to the fellas about that. The reality is, weight's gonna fluctuate. So when you marry that woman, that's just the reality you're gonna have to deal with. But ladies, if you're with a man who's 5'8" and you're not attracted to men who are 5'8", don't marry him. He's 5'8". The Lord made him 5'8". That's it. There's no more.
That's not what I mean. What I mean is you fell in love with a man who's 5'8", and that was your preference, or that wasn't your preference, but it changed because this man is amazing. But you're not going into it being like, oh, I really hope he wears Tim's all the time because it makes him taller. Like, that's not why you're marrying him. You married him because he's a great guy. And like this, like that appearance stuff goes out the window, or it should.
Well, exactly. So what he's basically saying is, if you are not attracted to women with, I mean, he doesn't say the weight, but if you're not attracted to a woman with a certain weight that you don't like, then don't marry that woman.
Yeah.
Because because you're not being fair now.
Well, you're setting yourself up for failure.
It'd be one thing if you married her and she was a size 3, and then now she's an 18. That's different. But if you're marrying her as an 18, brother, you married an 18. Deal with it.
Well, then it just, what is going to happen when you guys get old, and she's not? You guys both don't look the same. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it sounds retarded, but what they're saying though is they would wait until it still hasn't changed. So that's why I was asking, like, would you guys go through marriage and then wait till after? Because the divorce process sucks.
No, and I had cut into Beyonda. My bad. Beyonda, you was going to answer that. I just wanted to get it out the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my fiance is on the thicker side, and she's self-conscious about her weight. To me, that it didn't bother me that she was the way she is now, but she wants to lose weight, you know. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, that's my job as her future husband. You know, I'm getting married in December, to uplift her to make better decisions, eating, going to the gym or whatever. Because that's what she wants to do. She wants to better her health, which I totally get, you know. So I didn't get with her because I thought she was going to lose it at any point in time, but she wants to lose it. So now, you know, that's a little different than what we were talking about. I just wanted to share that though, because you know, I feel like if any guy is with a girl hoping that she'll lose weight or become something different, that's a little stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then it would mean you didn't, and maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but didn't really love her, you know. But
yeah, if she made it apparent that she wants to change these things about herself, then you should help her change those things, you know, or point out, hey, you're doing that thing again, right?
Yeah, so. Yeah.
All right. So, I got the message from y'all brothers. I know when y'all leaving, so let me go ahead and get into this last video, and I'm getting to some rapid fire questions. Okay, then I'll close it up. So let me go ahead and put this up real quick. Here we go.
Don't marry for love. Here's why.
Did she just say don't marry for love? She's right, don't marry for love. This is why. The concept of getting married for love is only about 100 years old. It's never really existed throughout history. That's why a lot of people are so disappointed when they do get married and then the love fades, or when there's an ebb or a flow. Everyone gets very upset that the partner can't be their mother, sister, brother, cousin, and child all in one. They can't fulfill all those roles. Essentially, if you want to love someone, you can be free to love anybody. But if you want to get married, it's like starting a company. It's an enterprise. It's a whole shebang. So look at that person and their values, what they want in the future, the journey of where they're going. Ask those questions when you're dating. If you really want to get married and put children into the mix, this is a company you're opening. You're not just in love. This is a whole big deal.
Oh, okay. Can I just say really quick, one thing that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, one thing that I hate is whenever people say, oh, love isn't enough. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice you make every day with the person you're with, It's not about, like, if you're going, it kind of makes me frustrated because it's like, everyone always says that. Oh, love isn't enough. Love isn't enough. Well, if I lose my job, right, I might not feel like I want to get up and I want to, go out there and get another job for me and my future wife. But because I love her that much and because I, love myself, hopefully, I'm going to try harder and continue to try to make the money that I need to make so I can support my family. That's love, right? That's not, love is what you do in spite of your feelings, right? Because you're not going to always feel like you want to do the right thing for your spouse, but because you love them that much, or hopefully you should, you're going to persevere and you're going to push through those emotions, right? That's what I think love is, not about how you feel. Because if that's the case, then no one will be together. Like, it's not, I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of how I feel about the love part. Because our flesh is always gonna like tell us to do the things that makes us comfortable, and to do the things that we, our flesh is gonna want to keep us like, hold up and, going for our desires and our wants and our whatever. But love is ignoring those things and laying down your life for the things that matter in spite of that.
So I think you are right, but love does start out as an emotion, as a feeling. And then to keep that going, to keep that relationship healthy and trustworthy and all that, loyalty, it is stuff you do, it's an action, waking up every day and choosing that person. But that's why I think the difference between love, the emotion, and being in love is the action. I think they're two completely different things. Because you can love someone and cheat on them. But I don't think you can be in love with someone and actively cheat.
What you think, Ray?
Yeah, I think that what Beyonce said about love is true. Because when you truly love someone, it's not all about you. It's not restricted to your momentary feelings. Love represents the big picture of why you're with someone. And the thing is, just like how Beyonce says that he's about to get married. Obviously, there is a lot in his fiance to love, in spite of how different he may feel on a different individual day. So she had to have been worth it that much for him to want to marry her. And so to understand that essence of love, it can't be simply restricted to your feelings or restricted to her feelings. It's about the big picture of why you're choosing to be with this person for the rest of your life. And when that's vetted and truly examined, then the fear of the increase of any level of a relationship will decrease. So I would say love is definitely worth it if you properly vet and you understand what the purpose and mission is and don't restrict it simply to your momentary feelings.
Well, what do you guys think is more important, vetting or being in love?
They, they coincide. They coincide.
Yeah, it's. I don't think that's an or, J Dub.
Well, because I truly believe that women can learn to love a man by how he treats her. Because look at oh, what's that called? Where they get together, they get married, they don't really know each other. I can't think of the word.
Talking about arranged marriage?
Yeah. A lot of the time, the women actually fall in love with the man because that's what happens. But I think the vetting is more important because there are going to be days where that love is hard to find.
Can I let me address that? So J Dub, arranged marriages are very rooted in culture based within that culture and within that family.
Yeah.
So I don't think that would work in the modern age in this country.
Well, they still have it in this country.
Within
With their
culture, within culture, because culture and family culture. So let me break it down. There are families in these other countries where they won't do the arranged marriage thing because they haven't necessarily, the two families haven't come together yet. So what happens is in these arranged marriages, the families are already intertwined with each other already in terms of like they may have already married into the family in the past, or what it is that there's a relationship between the parents of both parents. They have raised their kids in the same similar structure of between the two families. There's an end game, there's an end goal. And then when they have children at the same age, or at least adjacent ages, right? Then what they'll do is they'll say, you know what? I think we could come together for your son and my daughter, right? But that is done by the families.
Yeah.
So can that be done? Can that be done here? Even if in the modern age, well, let's go through how that could happen. There would still have to be a tradition of both families, right? So this could be done this way, but it may not necessarily be an arrangement because we don't have that law situated here. But there is something called an arranged or at least linked situation. You could have two friends who grew up together, right? And then I'm gonna get to my rapid fire questions because I want to get that before the brothers go. Okay, so you can have an arranged situation, an arranged relationship, right? In this way, we have two families who are very close. The fathers could have went to high school together, grew up, whatever. They had kids on their own. They've grown up with each other, so now the kids know each other, right? So then now the son or the daughter now marries each other. They didn't arrange that marriage, but you know what they did? They grew up together to the point where the family was aligned so well that they was like, you know what, this is perfect. Your son is marrying my daughter. So now there's a quote that Ghostface said in Glaciers of Ice. If my seeds grow with his seeds, marry his seeds, that's how we keep Wu-Tang money all up in the family. So that's a beautiful thing if that's something you could do. Does that happen all the time? No. But that is something that can happen. Go ahead, Beyonder.
Not to mention, arranged marriages, for the most part, were also because of they didn't want the woman to go off of their feelings. Because, like you just said, J-Dub, earlier, you said that you are attracted to red flags, So
Yeah.
someone back in the day would arrange a marriage for you so that you're not going for the wrong guy, so that that guy doesn't treat you like crap or, whatever. So arranged marriage was actually in protection for women because if a woman gets a guy that the father approves of, normally the guy is, stable, has a job, can support the family or whatever. He might not look the best, but he'll treat her right. That was what they were going for back in the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not the same thing now. It's different now, but it was protection of if you leave women to their own devices back then, they're going to choose the wrong guy, and then that's going
Yeah.
to breed a bunch of BS and toxic stuff that we're dealing with now.
Well, that's why I think that, and I was asking because at least for women, I think it's better to vet and he have all the qualities that he should have compared to just being in love. But you could go on to the questions. Sorry, I always go off different
No,
tangents.
it's okay. Let me get to rapid fire. It's something new that I'm trying on here. So I got some rapid fire questions. They're gonna be yes or no's or just short answers, okay? And I'm gonna ask everyone, all right? So the first question is potential attractive, yes or no?
Yes.
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 KJ?
Yes.
Would you date someone who has great potential but hasn't accomplished much? Yes. Would you date someone who has great potential but hasn't accomplished much yet? Yes or no?
No.
No.
What's more attractive, potential or consistency?
Consistency.
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 Have you ever fallen in love with someone's future instead of their present?
Unfortunately.
Yes.
No.
Is believing in someone's potential a sign of love or wishful thinking?
Wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking.
I think it could be both.
Should you marry someone for who they are today or who they could become?
Today.
Who they are today.
Today.
Okay. Which is riskier, marrying for love or marrying for potential?
Potential.
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 Can someone have too much potential and not enough discipline?
Yes.
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 Is waiting for someone to get it together romantic or settling?
Settling.
Depends.
Settling.
Depends. Yeah.
Okay. Finish this sentence and go one by one because we want to hear this. Potential without action is what?
Dead.
J-Dub?
Choose someone else. Hold on.
Beyonda?
Waste of time.
Potential without action is what? Finish that sentence.
A waste of time.
Ray, potential without action is what?
Weird. A waste of time.
J-Dub, potential without action is what?
Just a dreamer.
And so here's my last question for everyone on the panel. If your son or daughter brought home someone with incredible potential, but with obvious flaws, would you encourage that relationship?
No.
Depends on the flaws.
It depends.
Run it back, Turbo.
If your son or your daughter brought home someone with incredible potential, but with obvious flaws, would you still encourage that relationship?
Depends.
Okay. Yeah, I can actually unpack that. That's not a rapid fire question. If y'all
Depends on-
want to.
If the flaws are too detrimental for their current situation, I would say don't be with that guy or girl.
Okay. What you think, Ray?
Especially if the flaws are inconsistency and not keeping your word. Definitely, it's not something I recommend.
KJ?
Yeah, it really depends on how much work they're putting in. If not enough effort, then yeah, I definitely tell them get away from my kid.
J-Dub?
I probably wouldn't encourage it, but also, does that person see potential in themselves, or is it a lost cause?
Okay. All right. Hey, I want to thank everyone for coming today. I think this was still a good show of substance. I appreciate everyone as always. Maybe, I don't thank y'all enough. I feel like I do, but I feel like I'm always going to stretch out and make sure that I'm being thankful and grateful and appreciative, because this show is not a show without the people, whether it's my YouTube show here or the TikToks. Okay. So I definitely appreciate that. Does anybody have any like final thoughts before they go?
You guys need to invite more girls.
So J Dub, like I told you before you came on, I did, but it's very hard to get women on here.
Why?
You got to ask the women.
I don't know the women.
Oh, okay. Well, good point.
I only know Jess, but you said she's taking a break.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. But it could be how I'm recruiting. So it could be that.
Hey, where's that video at? Is that on your channel, Fifth? YouTube? The video where the Monday that I missed? I don't watch that.
Yeah, that's last week's episode.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that topic was let me go to it.
Was that the one that got heated?
Maybe.
I wouldn't say he did.
It was who has more influence on your relationship, your partner or your friends. That was episode 10. Yeah.
I don't think I saw KJ on, but that was working.
Yeah.
I was there.
He was on there. I saw it.
Yeah, he was there. He was part of the clip. I had asked Jess about Amber
Jess
Rose
was
and the
on?
slut walk.
Jess was on too?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, needless to say, it was a doozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be let me find the clip real quick. That would be this here, because this is the one that went kind of like this was last week. This was last week. This was last week. And this was from last week. This one. Oops. Asking if women claim Amber Rose as a feminist, because at the time Amber Rose was a self-proclaimed feminist, and did feminists support the slut walk movement that she had?
I'm sure they did.
Okay. What'd you just say?
I support the slut walk. I support the reason why they did it. I support free to nipple. Yeah, what are you talking about? And that's the feminist part of me. The choice. Yo. What do y'all think the slut walk was? Because what I know slut walk was a protest against rape culture.
Fifth, I'm risking no longer being allowed in your podcast anymore. But you just showed me how morally bankrupt you are. There's no way you can say under the same breath that you're a Christian while also simultaneously supporting the slut walk movement.
What was it about then? What was the slut walk about?
You tell me.
You tell me, because you're the one who says.
No, because I'll be 100% honest with you. My understanding of the slut walk movement is probably lackluster.
Okay.
But the slut walk was about ending rape culture, right? And how could anybody who's a Christian not be for ending rape culture?
That's not what it was all about.
How was it not all about that? Prove that.
No. Listen to me carefully, Jess. Jess, you had me so mad I couldn't even press a button.
Good.
Okay, Jess.
Why are you mad?
You got the nerve to say so. Why are you mad? God.
You guys, I should have been on that.
Yo, it was the double back when he was in the middle of talking and he was like, wait, what did you say? That part probably every time, bro.
Wait, who said you couldn't be a Christian and support that?
I couldn't.
Anyway, yeah, that was last week.
I didn't see.
Yeah, that's just a clip, but we gave full context of why KJ said that. And then also there's another reason why KJ said that to Jess that I won't talk about up here. But it's kind of one of those things where, sometimes, you when you make a claim about somebody, at some point they have a right to make a claim about you.
Yeah. Jesus said, cast the first stone. That had to do with the 304. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, anyway, KJ, you got any final thoughts?
Nah, man, good panel as always. I'm happy to be here. Sorry I couldn't show my beautiful, sexy face this time. Yeah.
It's all good. Pause. J Dub, you have any final thoughts on today's episode? I'm glad you came up here.
I know I was nervous because it was all men, but it went pretty well.
It's men that you know, though. So these are not. It's not like TikTok where people just come up here and it's like the Wild Wild West. This is invite only, like so
a lot of the time these men are against me. they would have opposite like opinions.
I'm not against you. I'm against some of your opinions.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's good.
Right. And I think
so it's hard coming up here just me.
That's okay, but I think that's what women kind of get kind of wrong with their projection is that. But as long as men and women are doing this, we don't attack the person. We just deal with what was said, but we don't attack the person. I think you lose.
Attack the argument.
Right. I think when you attack the person and not the argument, you lose. So, I never you see how I conduct my TikToks. I never attack a person.
Yeah.
I may disagree with someone, but I'm not going to attack you, call you ad hominems, because I think that's how you lose.
Yeah.
Ray, any final thoughts? I think I asked you. I'm not sure.
I just simply say you can acknowledge the potential, but don't fully ignore the actual.
Okay. All right. Everyone, let everyone know where they can reach you. Your socials, your TikToks, your Instagrams, whatever. Who want to go? Go first. Go ahead, Ray.
As I always say, my whole government name is on Facebook. And on Instagram, I'm known as Bannister Ray C. And I have a TikTok page. My name is Ultron.
There we go. Beyonda, you want to let people know where they can reach you?
Your panels. I'm only on TikTok whenever I'm on your panels, man. So yeah.
Absolutely. Salute, good brother. KJ, you want to let them know where they can reach you?
You was talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, KJ on all platforms. Some of them with an underscore between the T and the K. Some of them not. But definitely on YouTube at KJ, no underscore. On TikTok at KJ with the underscore.
J-Dub, you have anything to promote?
No. Stranger danger.
Okay. I want to let everybody know July 19th, I'm doing a TikTok special. Sunday, July 19th, a 12-hour streaming marathon. Multiple co-hosts, multiple topics. That is
all the way in July.
Because I have busy Sundays. I'm going to be busy. So I got to do it on a Sunday that I'm not busy on, okay? Is that okay with you, J-Dub?
Yo, I keep forgetting to tell you the topic that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably just going to tell you now.
Yeah, say it.
No. Let's wait.
What? No, you guys can't do that. That's
no. Wow. Beyonda is a regular on my program. Wow. So I'll let him announce it when we get in July. How about that?
Like tomorrow or Wednesday.
Tomorrow's the 30th.
Exactly. It's July 19th, not June 19th.
Well, June 19th already gone.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be like up all night thinking what it is.
Oh Lord.
You're gonna what?
Beyond the
Be
type
up
it in the
all-
comments. Yeah.
Thank you.
So beyond the J Dub don't know that about you. So J Dub gets very antsy when you say you're gonna say something and then you say wait.
Yeah. You
So
can't
just
do
type
that.
it in the private. Just type it in the private chat.
Oh, you said no.
I'll allow it.
I changed my mind.
If you want to say it in the private chat, go ahead. But as far as for the world to see, not yet. I think they gotta wait.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because J Dub can see it in the private chat. But yeah, July 19th on TikTok. On TikTok, July 19th, so you can reach me at the Fifth General, Facebook, Instagram, and X.
Oh my gosh.
YouTube channel, Fifth General TV, TikTok, Fifth General TV. All right. This was another episode of Fifth at Night every Monday on YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central on YouTube at Fifth General TV. My TikToks are every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 Central. All right. So thanks for everyone coming out. And y'all take care. And I'll see y'all Thursday if y'all are on TikTok. All right. Take care, y'all.
All right, peace.